Am I the asshole for snapping at my classist roommate? I live in a house with 3 other people, all students. Last week one of our toilets got really clogged up, to the point that we could not fix it by ourselves and had to call a plumber. The plumber came and was working on it for an hour, for which he charged us €50. Since then, one of my roommates won't stop making comments about how expensive that is and that a plumber has no right to charge so much since he didn't go to college. The last comment on a long list of them was, if you can charge €50 an hour for fixing a toilet, why are we even studying? After this I couldn't hold it in any more and finally snapped. I told her, I think €50 is a more than reasonable price to deal with your literal shit. You can start working as a plumber right now if you think it's such a great deal. Nothing is stopping you. Now she won't speak to me because apparently I disrespected her, and my other roommates insist I should apologize because that was unnecessary. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole. If she is only realizing now what people with a trade earn, she has led a very sheltered life. They have a different education, not an inferior one. People who work with their hands doing essential services are what keep our world ticking over, and the sooner she realizes it the better. Giant not the asshole. Your roommate needs a reality check. People deserve a fair wage regardless of their academic achievements. She sounds super bitter and entitled. Not the asshole, and you are absolutely correct. His skilled labor is worth the money. If it wasn't, then she could take the €50 payment, do it herself, and end up taking significantly longer to do a worse job at a higher cost. Not the asshole. How did you disrespect her? Edit. It's a rhetoric question. You don't need to answer it. Not the asshole. The plumber didn't earn $50. He charged for a service he provided, and he will have to pay taxes, tools, materials, and his ride to and from your location. Trade school and/or apprenticeship is an often overlooked career path. Craftsmen and women earn a good living and do essential work. Maybe she's just jealous that someone with 0 student debt earns as much or more than she will with her degree. Not the asshole. Why does she assume he didn't go to college? Don't apologize to her. So he was skilled enough to do something y'all couldn't but doesn't deserve pay? Errant doctors, pilots, electricians paid for their skillset. And what is Miss High and Mighty studying? Hilarious if it's something that's just gonna have her working at Starbucks anyway with just student loans to show for it. NTA, and don't you dare apologize. During lockdown, when people started losing their jobs left and right, my dad and I had a conversation, that 3 jobs in particular are always going to be needed, no matter what. Plumber. Electrician. HVAC technician. No matter the circumstances, people will always pay whatever is necessary for those services. And none of them require a college degree, just trade school. People like your roommate are why I tell my high school students not to rule out trade school. People may think that trade school jobs are low status or whatever, until they need to use them. Where I am, €50 is insanely cheap for a plumber to come out and work for an hour. Your roommate sounds like a snob, who thinks she's better than other people. It's not disrespectful to point out that she isn't better than other people. 50 squids is cheap. I would expect more. Your roommate is so out of touch. She isn't a classist. She is clueless and entitled. Not the asshole. She needed this reality check. She reminds of a team manager at a place I used to work at. I was in facilities and was assisting our on-site engineer. This manager made some snide remark about being on minimum wage to the engineer. He retorted, "I took home $75K last year after tax. How much did you take home?" She went beetroot and walked off. Not the asshole. We should appreciate people with most jobs, not insult them. We need _someone to deal with shit for a living, as evidenced by the fact that you needed to call one, and your roommate would hate to do that for a living, yet she's insulting people who do that work for her. I hate people who insult others for their jobs. Without plumbers we don't have running water. I think I read somewhere that an anthropologist once called being a plumber the most important job, one which without society would literally collapse. I think that might be hyperbole, but not by much. Your roommate is ignorant and classist and not the asshole. LMAO, not the asshole, and nice job. Not the asshole. Just wait until she has to call an electrician, her head will probably explode. And heaven help her if she has a car that ever needs work done. She's extremely out of touch if she's just now learning that skilled trade work is expensive. It's been a literal punchline in stand-up routines for decades. €50 is what? Around $60. Here in the US most of the country would kill for a reliable plumber at that rate. Not the asshole. You nailed it. If she feels disrespected for disrespecting someone, that's too bad, she's going to have to learn to live with it. Do not apologize. And as far as her not speaking to you, that's a blessing. Not the asshole. I'm a college professor. My dad was a college professor. My grandfather was a college professor. We are perhaps the most overeducated family you would ever want to meet. But you know what we aren't? Classist snobbish jerks. I was raised to respect all people including tradespeople, waitstaff, cleaning people etc. You are right to call this person out. And you have now experienced a weird phenomenon. People often rally behind the asshole rather than the person calling them out. I don't know why this happens but they seem to buy into the drama. Keep up the good work. And man, €50 seems like a bargain. If you can charge €50 an hour for fixing a toilet, why are we even studying? Not the asshole. And thanks for the laugh. I don't see how you disrespected her, you just gave her a reality check. He's done his job and deserved to be paid for it. Plus I don't know in which planet she's living, but a diploma does not mean you will have a higher salary than someone who doesn't, it depends on the type and diploma and job you get. Not the asshole. I'm a doctor, and very competent at diagnosing, fixing people. Completely and bitterly incompetent with house-car problems. Plumbers, electricians, mechanics etc. have trained and studied just like I have. The fact that she had to call someone to fix it because she couldn't do it herself proves that it's skilled work that requires training and deserves a good payment. NTA. €50 is nothing. I've had plumbing bills that were anywhere from $80 to $120, sometimes more. She seems very childish. I realize she's young, but life is going to throw her a lot of fast balls if she doesn't wrap her head around the fact that people deserve to be paid for the services they supply. If pointing out that someone is being a jerk is disrespecting them, maybe they shouldn't be jerks. She brought that on herself. When you call a plumber, you're paying for their availability when you need them, their time, their knowledge, their tools, them being willing to labor in awkward, uncomfortable spaces, hard on the back and knees, among other things, as well as the fact that many plumbing issues are just nasty, unpleasant to deal with, as you pointed out, literal shit. Not the asshole. Your housemate is just a clueless jerk. Not the asshole. I'm a tradesman. I got paid for my 5 years of workplace education. I have no student debt, and I outearn most of my college-educated friends. And, if your life is on the line, whose weld would you trust? A welder making $15 per hour, or a skilled tradesman making $45 per hour? I work for a heating, cooling, and plumbing company. These men and women are providing an amazing service, and are far from inferior. Your friend is the asshole in this situation. You had every right to go off like that. Not the asshole, and I love your response to your I wish I had an award to give you. Not the asshole. People having a disrespect for the trades is a hot button for me. And her elitist's attitude of not studying to learn a trade is way off. I went to trade school and studied my rear off. Apprenticeships take years to complete and you are working and studying the whole time. Not the asshole, and she's in for another rude awakening when she first gets a vehicle repaired. It's supply and demand. There are relatively few plumbers and they provide an emergency service that costs money. If she was being classist, she was doing a poor job. Since she is in college, she should take a few classes on economics and a few business classes as well. It will help her understand that $50. Hopefully she will understand that a good lawyer at a prestigious firm can make $300 an hour. Not the asshole. Also, the fact that 4 people couldn't fix it sort of makes the point that the plumber's services are valuable and needed. To be honest, he should have charged more. I have lots of family and friends who work in trades, and it annoys me to no end the amount of people who are either not handy, or think their time is too valuable to spend on menial chores who then turn around and complain about how much those services cost for someone else to do them. Not the asshole. It's €5 to fix the problem, it's €45 for knowing how to fix the problem. €50 for a plumber is damn cheap for an hour. Where I live, they charge €60 per hour for the work, add travel time and a few other fees and you're at $100. Your roommate is a prime asshole here. While you are not the asshole, you need to live together, so maybe just let it go, say you're sorry for snapping at her and leave it be. It's not worth it. Everyone I know working a blue-collar job makes at least $75,000 or more. She's not only an asshole. She's an idiot. Not the asshole. Also separately, y'all got a fantastic deal. I don't know the exact exchange rate, but my plumber friends charge $300 to come unclog a toilet, for exactly the reason of dealing with your literal shit. Not the asshole. She's in college. She thinks that $50 is their hourly wage. That it doesn't pay for the truck and equipment they showed up in? The overhead and training. She's not the smart one, is she? Not the asshole. Your roommate needed a reality check and you gave her one. She looks down on service people, and she thinks that tradesmen are not supposed to make money because they don't have an education, and she's dead wrong. Blue-collar workers are necessary for a society and companies to work well. She's mistaken about janitors, blue-collar workers, and tradespeople education and earnings. Also, perhaps she thinks poor, uneducated people don't deserve to make a living wage. Don't apologize and don't coddle her. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This is a super reasonable call-out charge and fixing fee. People that learn a trade are essential to a functioning society, and are unlikely to have put themselves into debt doing it. A lot of people think their degree has to mean something, otherwise they can't justify the amount of time they've wasted with it. They had no reason to be so dismissive when they clearly couldn't resolve the issue themselves. Not the asshole. In fact, here in the States, more parents and professionals are telling young people to give consideration to a trade instead of college. We seem to be running a bit short of tradesmen, and trade schools and internships don't cost near what a college degree does. One person here on Reddit spoke of how he went to welding school and was making $50,000 a year while his college-educated friend made fun of him for doing so, but the friend was still looking for a job and paying off student loans. You just gave your roommate a dose of the real world. Not the asshole. That comment was absolutely necessary. Not the asshole. You're absolutely right, and you held yourself together better than I would have, to be honest. Not the asshole. She needs to learn this lesson ASAP. Not the asshole. She needed a reality check. Not the asshole, since everyone deserves proper pay. Also, how did you guys even get it done for less than $200 bucks? Not the asshole. Geez, that was a cheap plumber though compared to prices in my area. Nope, not the asshole. She was being rude and ridiculous. If she didn't want to be charged $50, then maybe she should have fixed it. It's amazing how people don't realize that you don't have to go to college to get a good job. Not the asshole. Not your fault for saying it how it is. They know more about plumbing than anyone else and they're actually in high demand, so why shouldn't they get paid that much? Not to mention, I don't think that's even bad. Not the asshole. My old psychiatrist had a PhD in addition to his MD, so 4 years of bullshit plus 8 years in MD PhD. Plus 4 years of internship, residency, fellowship. He laughed once that despite his very long education, H still made less per hour than his plumber. Your roommate might want to take a seat. I'm in the US, so things may be different, but €50 seems like a fucking bargain to me. 50. Do you have his phone number for me? Not the asshole. If you think plumbers are expensive, try electricians. If I started over, that's what I would do.